Steady now.
After proving a huge success for Ubisoft in 1995, with the PlayStation version becoming the highest selling game in the United Kingdom, a Rayman sequel seemed inevitable and would finally arrive towards the start of the 2000s. While initially starting life as a 2D platformer like its predecessor, Rayman 2 would make the jump to a full 3D adventure to match contemporaries of the time. It can always be a tricky endeavour, but luckily for the armless hero, The Great Escape would prove one of the strongest platformers of its generation. Airtight controls, inventive levels, and a fantastic presentation put this one near the top of the pile.
You must escape, Rayman. You are our only hope.
The Great Escape concerns the invasion of the Glade of Dreams by Admiral Razorbeard and his fleet of robotic pirates. A fierce battle between the heroes and the pirates causes the explosion of the primordial core and the scattering of Lums, consequently plunging the world into darkness and stripping Rayman of his powers. His capture appears to doom the world, but after escaping, Rayman begins the task of freeing his allies and collecting the 1000 Lums spread across the world. This takes the form of 18 platforming levels, each housing Lums and cages to smash with captured allies. There's a fair amount of story scenes between levels, which are charming for several reasons. Rayman makes for a likeable hero, a bit of a goofball, yet unwavering in his mission. Side characters are rather funny, such as the teensies arguing over who is king. Despite contrasting a darker Fred with cartoony stylings, the game somehow gels together rather well. Where Rayman 2 really excels is in its gameplay. Despite making the tricky jump to 3 dimensions, the platforming is ace. Rayman handles really well, moving gracefully and boasting responsive controls that makes jumps easy to pull off. There's a fun momentum too, as a little roll after landing allows you to chain leaps with ease. The camera works well for the most part, with spacious levels allowing you to rotate the view with little trouble, and the transition to more cinematic views is seamless. Rayman's moveset is small but mighty, allowing you to attack with a punch shot and use a helicopter glide to hover. He gains further moves as you progress, including being able to charge his attack for more damage. Even combat works well, as Rayman can lock onto foes and strafe using one of the triggers, though admittedly, invincibility frames can sometimes drag out battles with tougher foes. On the whole, however, the gameplay here is excellent. Smart improvements often define great sequels, and this is certainly the case with The Great Escape. The first game caught some flack for being very difficult at points, but the curve here is a lot smoother, without the experience ever feeling too easy. The early going gradually eases the player into more moves and abilities, and later stages offer more complexity and hazards to avoid with these gained powers. There's also some insane variety to this one, as along with more traditional platforming stages, there's also a bevy of unique action levels. Riding on the back of a snake like a water ski, taming a bullet and riding the back of it, and igniting barrels to fly like a rocket keep you guessing what is coming next and prove mostly great fun. Some instances do cause slight frustration, with instant death hazards seeing you repeatedly sent back. But Rayman 2 forgoes a live system in favour of a more forgiving checkpoint setup, which sees you sent back to the start of an area if you lose all your health. It makes this platformer accessible to newer players, while keeping a dose of that challenge for the more hardcore gamer. After launching previously on Nintendo 64 and home computers, Rayman 2 would see a Dreamcast release the following year. Michel Ancel, the game's director, would say this is the definitive version, and it's easy to see why. Sharp textures create a bright, colourful landscape to explore. Performance is mostly smooth, with a bump up to 60 frames per second, and it only makes the controls even tighter. There are certainly still some rougher edges from prior versions, with a few character models and cutscenes looking less flattering. But on the whole, this is a beautiful game with a distinctive art style. The varied levels range from darker swamps to ancient temples, cutesy good guys contrast with cold robot pirates, and a diverse range of motifs, including more mystic characters, gel well with the above. The sound remains a delight, with a quality soundtrack that balances dramatic scores, songs which induce wonder, and more comedic tracks. Sound effects are high quality, and the voice work uses gibberish, which is charming without feeling forced. There's a lot to seek out in The Great Escape 2. The 18 levels house 80 cages and 1,000 lums, some of which aren't too hard to find, while others demand a thorough search. It will take about 8 hours to finish the game, and a few more to get the coveted 100%. It's not super long in fairness, but it never feels bloated as a consequence. Earning 100% in a level rewards a bonus race, which needs tough button mashing to win, especially towards the latter end of the game. Rayman 2: The Great Escape is a joyful platformer that stands above most of its contemporaries. Fantastic level design, refined mechanics, and a beautiful presentation combine to form an excellent experience. There are a few things you could quibble over. It's not as long as some 3D platformers, and a few moments here and there can be frustrating. But these are small woes next to the excellence of the rest of the game. If you're a 3D platformer aficionado, this is simply a must. And if you were scared off by the first game's high difficulty level, give this one a try, as it does what the best sequels do. It takes what was good about the original and refines it to a mirror shine.